Hi. In this video, I'm going to present a third argument from Dr. Craig's article presenting 5 arguments for the existence of God. And the link to that article is in the video description, so you can read this this argument number 3, titled The Moral Argument Based Upon Moral Values and Duties. And I'm only going to read a part of it, so there's more to the article and more to the argument that I won't be covering in this video. So you'll want to click the link and see what else Dr. Craig has to say. Okay, so the moral argument based upon moral values and duties. A number of ethicists, such as Robert Adams, William Alston, Mark Levine, Paul Copan, John Hare, Stephen Evans, and others, have defended various moral arguments for God. In order to understand the version of the moral argument which I've defended in my own work, it is necessary that we grasp a couple of important distinctions. First, we should distinguish between moral values and duties. Values have to do with whether something is good or bad. Duties have to do with whether something is right or wrong. Now, you might think at first that this is a distinction without a difference. Good and right mean the same thing, and the same goes for bad and wrong. But if you think about it, you can see that this isn't the case. Duty has to do with moral obligation, what you ought or ought not to do. But obviously, you're not morally obligated to do something just because it would be good for you to do it. For example, it would be good for you to become a doctor, but you're not morally obligated to become a doctor. After all, it would also be good for you to become a firefighter or a homemaker or a diplomat, but you can't do them all. So there's a difference between good, bad, and right, wrong. Good, bad has to do with something's worth, while right, wrong has to do with something's being obligatory. Second, there's the distinction between being objective or subjective. By objective, I mean independent of people's opinions. By subjective, I mean dependent on people's opinions. So to say that there are objective moral values is to say that something is good or bad, independent of whether people think about it, independent of whatever people think about it. Similarly, to say that we have objective moral duties is to say that certain actions are right or wrong for us, regardless of what people think about it. So, for example, to say that the Holocaust was objectively wrong is to say that it was wrong, even though the Nazis who carried it out thought that it was right. And it would still have been wrong, even if the Nazis had won World War II and succeeded in exterminating or brainwashing everybody who disagreed with them, so that everyone believed the Holocaust was right. With those distinctions in mind, here's a simple moral argument for God's existence. 1. If God does not exist, objective moral values and duties do not exist. 2. Objective moral values and duties do exist. 3. Therefore, God exists. Premises 1 and 2. What makes this argument so compelling is not only that it is logically airtight, but also that people generally believe both premises. In a pluralistic age, people are afraid of imposing their values on someone else. So premise 1 seems correct to them. Moral values and duties are not objective realities, that is, valid and binding independent of human opinion, but are merely subjective opinions ingrained into us by biological evolution and social conditioning. At the same time, however, people do believe deeply that certain moral values and duties, such as tolerance, open-mindedness, and love, are objectively valid and binding. They think it's objectively wrong to impose your values on someone else, so they're deeply committed to premise 2 as well. And that's where I'll stop. So you can read more about his philosophizing regarding the premises and the conclusion if you'd like to click the link in the video description. Thanks so much for watching.